Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacqueline Lopez. I have a fun DIY to share today. I am going to be doing part 2 of my DIY stamped book stacks. I am very excited to finally share these with you. I love these so much and I can't wait for you to try them. Now, as always, I am going to remind you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so that you are notified every time that I post a new video. Like, comment, and share on this video. That really helps my channel to grow. And let's just get on to the DIYs. For our first book stack, we are going to be using hardcover books. I'm using these large stamps. They are from IOD. I'm also going to be using a blue ink pad and some ivory chalk paint to paint our books. Now we are going to be starting by taking the jacket off of our books, and I do want to protect the pages. I don't want any paint on them. I'm using just what I had on hand, so I'm just using this plastic bag to cover and protect them. You can of course use like saran wrap, cling wrap, anything that you have like that, just so that you don't get any paint on them. Of course, we're going to be painting the hardcover portion of our books. I'm going to be using this ivory chalk paint, and I'm going to be giving it 2 separate coats, but right here it's embossed so you can see the letters. So I'm going to be doing 2 or 3 really thick coats so that I can make it as flat as possible. Now, when I paint my book, I am going to be painting the inside, but only where you can see the red of like the hardcover, and I'm going to do that to the inside and the top sides where the spine is. So again, all I'm going to do is paint both of my books. Again, I'm going to do the same to the second book. I am going to let them dry between coats, and then of course let them dry overnight. As you can see, it all dried really nice. There is some cracking where the title used to be, but I actually like that. I think it adds to the look that I'm doing. Of course, remove the plastic, and as you can see, none of the pages were stained. Now it's time for the stamps. I ended up choosing this darker stamp, but of course you can do lighter blue, black. I just went with the darker blue because I felt it would look more like chinoiserie, if that's how you say it. I'm going to be using some of these large floral stamps. They are from IOD. Of course, you can use any of the designs on here. I am obsessed with these stamps. I hope to have more tutorials using more of their stamps because they are absolutely gorgeous. Again, I'm going to do the spines and the front of the book, so I decided to go with their larger stamp. You can see how hard I'm pulling the stamps off these. These are heavy duty stamps. Again, I am just obsessed with them. So I felt that this larger floral design was going to cover it better and give me more of the look that I wanted. Now, this is the first time I'm using these stamps, so I'm still testing them out so that I can find the better way for me to use them. So you're going to see me struggle a bit. I don't mind you seeing that. Now with these stamps, you do have to kind of prep them before first use. You do have to sand over them just a little bit so that they have a really good grip on the ink. Go to the IOD YouTube channel. They have a lot of tutorials, and of course they have tips on how to use these stamps. Again, I'm still testing out to see what I want to do with my books, but I'm going to go ahead and move forward. I think I know what I want. I'm going to stamp the ink pad onto the stamp itself because it's a smaller ink pad, and then this will help me make sure that I get the ink only on the design, and that's it, because I'm going to be doing this by hand. That's why I went back in and saw again how I was going to stamp. Now again, I'm going to question myself on what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna go for it. I thought that this was the best way for me to do it, which was to just wrap it around with my hands. But as I'm doing it, I noticed that I am shifting the stamp. So I know it's going to create some mirroring or ghosting. I don't know which of the two terms is the appropriate one, but it doesn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to. So I still wanted to have you see kind of my mistake so that you can learn from it and do better after me. I tried to correct it, but there are some spaces where it didn't get the stamp really well. I wasn't pressing firm enough because again, I had the whole thing in one hand. It was way too much for me to try and do, so I'm trying to fix it. I'm able to make it work at the end though. Here it is. I do love the side, but again, there's some lines where I moved and where it wasn't taking the stamp well enough. So on to try number 2. I'm going to do the same, apply the ink on the stamp, and this time I'm going to try a different technique. So instead of bringing it to me, I'm just going to stamp the book like onto the stamp itself, and I thought that this worked so much better. If you were going to do just the spine, this is perfect, but I do want the front and the sides, and then you're gonna see me struggle here again. I tried to decide how to just move forward because I'm scared I don't want to mess it up, but of course I can just repaint over the whole thing. So I end up going for it. I just again set my book down on the side that I wanted, trying to be as careful as I can to not shift it, pressing firmly enough so that it gets everything, and I don't mind if it doesn't get that area I pointed out to. Usually in books those don't have a lot of stamping anyways. It's light, but I like it so much better. I think this is the way to go. Now here the ink is still wet, so I'm trying to be careful and not smudge the ink. So I'm going to take just this plastic where the stamp came in and just use that so that I can protect the ink, and that worked so much better. Again, there's some areas that didn't stamp really dark, but it adds to the vintage look that I wanted anyways. On this first book, I actually ended up liking it. It turned out still okay. I went ahead and added the little stamp phrase where it says Les Roses or Les Roses, I don't know what it says. And I'm just going to stamp it on this corner, and I decided that that's going to be my top book since it's the one that's going to have the letters, and I'm just going to let them dry overnight. Here they are, all dry and styled. Again, the top book is my first try. I still ended up liking it. I think the fact that it's not perfect adds to how much I love them, and I do love this like blue and white look for summer. So very excited for you to try this one. Now on to our second book stack. Now this one is very similar to the one I did in my previous video. We are going to be using some paperback books, some regular alpha stamps in a new font. I'm going to be using permanent black ink, some stamps from Hobby Lobby, and these really cool clamps that help keep my books together. Now first I'm going to start by removing the paper covering on the books. So I just tore them off, make sure that I had a good front and back page for both of them, and I'm going to take these clamps. They're from Walmart. They cost me like $1.50, and I'm going to use them to keep them together. I don't do this on every set that I do, just on these because we are going to be using a larger stamp to cover both of the books. I shared a picture of them quite a while ago on my Instagram, and I got a lot of messages asking me how I got that stamp on both of the books because it's the same stamp on 2 books. So again, just make sure that you clamp it. Don't do it too tight to where you like warp the pages, just tight enough so that they're holding them together and as straight and as even as possible. Now I'm going to take my stamp. Again, this is just a set that I got from Hobby Lobby. I chose this bucket that has some lavender in it, and as you can see, it's larger than one of my books, so that's why I want to keep both of them together. I'm also not going to be using a like clear acrylic block to stamp them. I'm going to use just the stamp itself, kind of like how I did in the first DIY that I did here. Now make sure that you do get a lot of ink on your stamp, because you're only going to be able to stamp once, and these clear stamps have much thinner lines. So make sure that it's really nice and dark before you put it on, or else it'll be light and you're not going to be able to put it back on. It's going to be really hard to make it darker afterwards. So again, I'm just applying it as is with nothing else, so that it's flexible enough so that I can mold it into the spine of the book. And I'm just using my fingers to press firmly, and here it is. It's perfectly even on both of the books. Now we're just going to do our alpha stamps on the opposite end. I'm doing these so that you can see that there is a new font that I found at Michael's. I've had these for a really long time, but most of my customers still request the regular font, but I still wanted to show these because I love them more, since they offer a more modern look to these books. And I'm just going to stamp a simple phrase of fresh flowers on here. Now here it is fully stamped, and make sure that you let it dry before you remove the clamps. It's very satisfying once you get to remove the clamp and you get to see kind of the final look where everything lines up perfectly. Now we're going to add some decorative ribbon to it. I recently found this one at Dollar Tree, but I think I want to go just with a classic jute ribbon, since that's what I like the most. I'm gonna do white because the other stack that I did that is similar to this, I use the brown one. So I'm going to just wrap it around a couple times and do a very simple knot up front, so that I don't take away from the design, since this is not just letters, it's actually a picture. So I thought that this just made it look a little simpler and cuter. Here it is styled. Again, I absolutely love the way that it turned out. I hope that you enjoyed both of these DIYs. I think they are perfect for any season. If you are a book stack maker, feel free to use these DIYs and sell them in your very own Etsy shops. Thank you so much for taking time to watch my video. Leave me a comment down below which one was your favorite. I'm going to leave links to the IOD stamps and Etsy shop where you can buy IOD stamps, and I'm going to try and link the Michael's alpha stamps as well. Again, thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. Make sure that you are subscribed to my channel, like, comment on this video. That really helps my channel to grow, and you have a very good rest of your day. Bye bye.